The alien council chamber was built to intimidate. Its ceiling stretched like the inside of a cathedral, glowing with strange blue light. Massive banners of different alien empires hung from the walls. Each banner told the story of power, conquest, and long history. But today, none of those banners mattered. Every eye was fixed on the tall figure standing in the center. The figure was General Korath, a war hero among his kind, his scales marked with scars of battles older than many council members themselves. His deep voice usually shook the chamber with confidence. Yet today, when he finally opened his mouth, his voice trembled. "Earthborn," he whispered. The word fell into the silence like a blade cutting through glass. The other alien leaders froze. Some blinked, unsure if they had heard correctly. Others leaned forward, their faces twisted with confusion. Council chambers had heard countless threats, warnings, and declarations of war before, but never had a single word created such weight. "Repeat that, General," demanded the speaker, a tall insectoid elder whose wings flickered with unease. General Korath lowered his head, his claws tight against the stone floor. "Earthborn," he said again, louder, as if forcing himself to admit a nightmare. Whispers spread across the room. Leaders from dozens of species exchanged alarmed glances. Many had only heard the word in rumors. Some claimed Earthborn was a myth, a forgotten species lost on a backwater planet. Others believed it was a story told to frighten young soldiers. But now, if Korath was saying it, the myth was alive. The chamber doors opened. From the shadows, a small group of human soldiers stepped inside. Their armor was clean, simple, yet carried an aura of strength. They marched in perfect formation, boots striking against the polished floor with sharp echoes. At their center walked Commander Ilara. She was calm. Her uniform carried no royal crest, no mark of galactic nobility. She was simply a soldier, but the way she moved made the council watch her every step. Her eyes were steady, sharp, and unafraid. The aliens leaned back in their seats as Ilara entered the circle. Behind her, a massive hologram flickered to life. It displayed Earth from orbit. But what caught their attention were the shadows around Earth. Giant warships, larger than anything the galaxy thought possible, hung like silent guardians. Their designs were alien, yet unmistakably human. Their hulls carried scars of testing, as if they had already fought wars no one knew about. "Impossible," one council member hissed. "Primitives," another spat. Though his voice cracked, the insectoid speaker tried to regain control. "Commander Ilara of Earth," he said carefully. "You stand before the Galactic Council. We did not summon you. Why have you come?" Ilara's lips curved into a faint smile. She did not bow, did not greet them in the traditional way. Her silence stretched long enough to make the room tense. Finally, she spoke in a calm, steady tone. "Humanity does not ask for permission to exist," she said. "We are here because you ignored us. You looked away when our world bled. You laughed when we called for help. And now you are afraid because we did not die. We endured, we built, and we are ready." The chamber erupted with shouts. Some aliens slammed their fists on the table. Others hissed in alarm. The speaker tried to silence them, but their voices crashed like a storm. One council member sneered, his tentacles writhing. "You dare threaten us? You are still children of the dirt, crawling from your small world. The galaxy does not bend for humans." Ilara did not move. She only tilted her head slightly. "Look again," she said. The hologram shifted. Now it showed the fleet moving. Earth's warships began to align, their engines glowing with bright blue light. The sheer scale was terrifying. Each ship carried weapons unknown to the Council, designs the galaxy had never seen. It was a fleet built not for defense, but for war. The shouting stopped. Silence returned. General Korath's claws scraped the stone as he stood. His eyes, hard as steel, never left Ilara. He had fought countless enemies across countless wars. Yet the sight of her made his chest tighten. His voice thundered across the chamber. "If she is truly Earthborn, then none of us are safe." The words echoed through the chamber like thunder. Every leader turned their gaze toward Ilara. She did not flinch. Instead, she smiled. A sharp, cold smile that carried both pride and warning. The hologram behind her zoomed in closer, showing Earth itself. Blue oceans, green lands, white clouds. A world that had been underestimated for far too long. A world that now revealed its hidden teeth. The speaker's voice cracked as he asked the question everyone feared. "What do you want, Commander?" Ilara's eyes locked with his. "You will find out soon enough." The chamber froze. The lights dimmed slightly, as if the air itself had grown heavy. No one moved, no one spoke. Even General Korath stood in silence, his body rigid. The moment stretched like a blade, drawn across a throat, and then the recording devices scattered across the chamber captured one final frame, the human fleet above Earth. Engines burning brighter, ready to move. Darkness filled the screen. The hologram of Earth's orbit burned in every mind inside the alien council chamber. Massive human warships floated like shadows, silent yet terrifying. But what the council saw was only the beginning. Far away, in the cold silence of space, Earth's fleet waited. Hundreds of warships stood in perfect formation, black silhouettes against the glow of the planet. Their size dwarfed anything the galaxy thought possible. Some were as long as cities, bristling with weapons that hummed with power no one could name. Others were lean and sharp, built for speed, their engines glowing like burning stars. The largest of them all was the Eternal Dawn, a flagship so massive that smaller cruisers could land on its hull without being noticed. Its armor gleamed silver, scarred by secret tests of unimaginable force. It had never been seen outside Earth's system, yet its presence was enough to shake the balance of the galaxy. Inside the Eternal Dawn, Commander Ilara stood before a vast window, her eyes locked on Earth, glowing blue and green beneath her. Soldiers moved behind her with quiet discipline. Every man and woman aboard carried the weight of Earth's survival in their hearts. She whispered to herself, just loud enough to hear, "They finally see us." A low hum vibrated through the ship as the fleet adjusted position. The warships moved in silence, like predators circling prey. No signals were sent, no declarations of war. The ships spoke with their presence alone. At the far edge of the system, alien scout ships floated unseen. They watched, their cameras recording every detail. Across the galaxy, live feeds began to spread. Empires that had dismissed Earth as primitive now watched in shock. The images were undeniable. One alien captain on a hidden spy vessel muttered to his crew, "These designs, they are not from the Council archives. No species ever built ships like these." Another officer's mandibles clicked nervously. They were supposed to be nothing. They were supposed to be weak. Suddenly, the lights inside their ship flickered. Warning alarms screamed. The alien captain spun around. "What is happening?" Before he could finish, the stars outside warped. A shadow passed over them. One of Earth's warships had appeared without warning directly above them. The ship's size filled their entire view. The scout crew froze. Their scans revealed nothing. No jump signature, no warp trail. The human ship had simply arrived as if it had always been there. A cold voice filled their comms. "This is Commander Ilara. You have seen enough." The alien captain tried to respond, his voice shaking. "We are neutral observers." "You cannot," but his words cut short. The human warship fired no weapon, made no movement. Yet in a single instant, the alien vessel vanished. Not destroyed, not shattered, simply erased, as if space itself had swallowed it whole. The human warship turned slowly, its massive hull gliding back toward Earth, to the galaxy. The message was clear. Do not look too closely at what Earth is building. Back on Earth's surface, entire cities watched the fleet above. Giant screens displayed the warships in orbit. Crowds filled the streets, not with fear but with pride. For centuries, humanity had been ignored by the stars. Now they had claimed their place. In a military academy, young recruits stood at attention as an old general addressed them. "You will hear the word Earthborn whispered across the galaxy. Let them whisper. Let them fear. You are the shield of our world. You are the storm they never expected." Meanwhile, deep within the fleet, a hidden chamber hummed with energy. Strange engines pulsed like hearts, running on technology no alien race had ever seen. A scientist walked beside Commander Elara, speaking in a low tone. "They do not understand how far we have gone. Not yet. We kept it hidden just as planned. But if they keep sending scouts, we cannot hide forever." Elara's eyes narrowed. "Then let them come. The more they see, the less they understand." The scientist hesitated, then added, "But there is one thing, Commander. The power we unlocked. It was never meant to be used lightly. If we push too far, even Earth might not survive." Elara turned back toward the window, her face cold and unreadable. "Humanity has survived everything. We will survive this too." Across the galaxy, panic grew. In the council chamber, leaders argued louder than ever. Some demanded an immediate strike against Earth. Others whispered that war would mean extinction for their kind. General Korath slammed his claw against the table. "Fools! You do not understand what you are seeing. I fought them once, long ago, when their ships were nothing but metal shells. Even then, they were monsters in battle. Now you see them reborn, stronger than before. If you provoke them, they will not stop until you are ashes." The chamber went quiet at his words. Yet fear did not stop the tide. One council member leaned forward, voice dripping with venom. "If we wait, they will only grow stronger. Earth must be destroyed before it is too late." The speaker's voice shook. "And if we fail?" No one answered. In the depths of space, the human fleet adjusted again. Engines lit, formations shifted, as if preparing for something. The galaxy held its breath. Back aboard the Eternal Dawn, Elara stood before her officers. A map of the stars unfolded in front of them. Red markers glowed where alien empires held power. For the first time in history, Earth was on the map as well, marked not as prey, but as a power to be feared. An officer asked quietly, "Commander, do we wait for them to come to us, or do we strike first?" Elara's lips curved into that same sharp smile she had worn in the council. Her answer was calm, steady, and chilling. "Neither. We let them believe they still have a choice." The lights dimmed across the fleet. The engines roared like thunder. And then, without warning, one of the warships disappeared into the void, vanishing toward alien space. The galaxy watched in silence. The hunt had begun. The alien council still argued, their voices breaking the silence of the great chamber. But far from their debates, deep inside the human fleet, another story unfolded. On board the warship Iron Resolve, the training decks thundered with sound. Boots struck metal floors in perfect rhythm. Dozens of human soldiers moved as one, their rifles raised, eyes locked forward. Each step, each motion, was precise and sharp. They looked more like machines than men and women. At the edge of the deck, a captured alien spy trembled. His arms were bound in steel cuffs, his body weak after interrogation. He had been placed there, forced to watch the soldiers train. His yellow eyes widened with horror at the sight. "These are not humans," he muttered to himself. "This is something else," the officer beside him corrected in a cold voice. "No, these are humans, true humans. The kind you never wanted to see." The soldiers split into squads, rolling across the floor in combat formations. Their weapons fired in bursts, harmless training rounds lighting the room. Targets shaped like alien warriors exploded one by one. "No miss, no hesitation," the spy whispered again, shaking. "Impossible. Your kind were weak. You were farmers, workers, dreamers. Not this. Not soldiers like this." A laugh came from behind him. Commander Elara stepped into view, arms folded. Her gaze never left her troops as they continued their flawless drills. "You should know by now," she said, "that survival makes better soldiers than comfort ever could." The alien turned his head slowly toward her. His voice cracked with fear. "How? How did your world do this in silence? The council watched you. We all watched you." "There was nothing." Elara stepped closer. Her shadow fell across him. "You saw nothing because you wanted to see nothing. While your empires fought each other for pride and power, humanity fought every day just to live. We learned from hunger. We learned from disease. We learned from war. Every scar you see on Earth is a lesson carved into our skin. You called us weak and we believed it. Until one day we decided never to be prey again." The spy's throat went dry. He remembered the rumors. Earth's history filled with endless conflict. Wars over land, over resources, over survival itself. A world that forced its children to fight or die. He had thought those stories were exaggerated. But now, seeing these soldiers, he realized they were not stories. They were warnings. The soldiers finished their drill. Without a word, they snapped into perfect formation, standing at attention as the alarms shifted. A voice echoed through the ship. Combat readiness check. Outer patrol reporting unidentified movement near the fleet perimeter. Ilara's eyes narrowed. She gave a sharp nod to her officer. The spy was dragged away, still muttering in disbelief. Within minutes, Ilara and her soldiers moved to the command deck. The holographic map lit up, showing the fleet's position around Earth. Red markers blinked on the outer edge. Small alien vessels, fast and armed, were approaching. The officer frowned. "Not scouts this time, raiders, testing us." Ilara's jaw tightened. "Then we give them their answer." Orders snapped across the ship. Guns shifted, shields roared to life, and the iron resolve turned toward the intruders. The alien raiders, seeing the human warships rise to meet them, fired first. Streams of plasma lit the void, but the human ships did not dodge. Their shields absorbed the fire like rain on stone. A moment later, the human fleet struck back. Beams of light cut through space, hitting with precision that left no chance of escape. In seconds, 3 alien raider ships shattered into burning debris. The remaining vessels tried to retreat. But human soldiers did not allow prey to escape. Fighters launched from the bays, sleek machines piloted by men and women trained from childhood for this moment. They closed in with deadly speed, cutting the raiders apart piece by piece. On the command deck, the alien spy was dragged back to watch. His eyes widened in horror as he saw the discipline, the cold precision. This is not war," he whispered. "This is extermination," Ilara heard him. Her face remained calm. "This is survival." The last alien ship exploded, leaving silence in its place. The debris drifted, glowing faintly in the darkness. Human ships reformed their lines, perfect, unshaken, untouched. Across the galaxy, hidden relays had caught the battle. The feed spread like fire. Billions watched as alien raiders, once feared as hunters of the weak, were destroyed in less than a minute. For the first time, alien civilians spoke openly of fear. If this was only one human fleet, how many more were hidden? On the council world, debates grew louder. Some demanded immediate action, fearing humanity's rise. Others wanted peace, hoping to avoid war with a force so ruthless. But the loudest voice came again from General Korath. His eyes burned with memory and fear. "I told you what they were," he growled. "Now you have seen it for yourselves. Humanity are not newcomers to war. They are war itself. Every soldier you saw today is born from centuries of blood. Do not mistake them for anything else." The Speaker of the Council leaned forward, his voice heavy. "Then the question stands. Do we prepare for peace, or prepare for their destruction?" No one answered. The silence was broken only when a council aide rushed in, pale and trembling. "The humans," he gasped. "They have sent a message to the galaxy." The chamber froze. "What message?" the Speaker demanded. The aide swallowed hard. "Just 3 words." The screen lit up behind him. Every council member stared as the message appeared in human script, then translated across their devices. "We are ready." The chamber fell silent. Even General Korath lowered his head, his claws digging into the table. He remembered the first time he had fought humans, long ago. He remembered the cost. Now the entire galaxy would know. Back on the Iron Resolve, Ilara stood before her soldiers. Their faces were calm, their eyes steady. She looked at them, then at the stars beyond. "Soldiers of Earth," she said, her voice carrying through the halls of the ship. "They finally see us. They finally understand. But they still do not believe. Soon they will." The ship's alarms blared again. A new signal appeared on the holographic map. A massive fleet, an alien armada, was entering the system. Thousands of ships, all pointed toward Earth. The room shook with tension. Ilara's voice cut through the silence. "Prepare for battle." The alien council chamber shook with noise. Voices clashed like weapons, each leader shouting over the other. The images of Earth's soldiers, their perfect training, their unstoppable fleet, had been broadcast across the galaxy. Billions had seen it. Entire empires were panicking. Inside the chamber, the tension grew heavier with each second. The speaker slammed his claw against the table. "Order!" he shouted. But his voice was swallowed by the storm of arguments. Some leaders shouted for peace. "We must open talks with Earth," said one, his many eyes wide with fear. "If they truly built this in secret, then they are beyond us. We must treat them as equals. Before it is too late," others roared for war. "They are liars!" snarled a reptilian overlord, his tail whipping behind him. They hid their weapons, their armies, their ships. They waited like predators. "If we let them rise, they will consume us all. Earth must be burned before it spreads." The words echoed across the chamber, dividing the council like a blade. Some nodded, others shook their heads. In the shadows at the edge of the chamber, General Korath remained silent. His eyes stayed locked on the hologram of Earth's fleet, still glowing above the table. He did not speak, but his claws dug into the stone until cracks formed. Finally, the speaker raised his arms, demanding silence. The chamber grew still. His voice shook, but carried weight. "We cannot argue forever. This council must decide. Do we prepare for peace, or do we prepare for war?" The words settled like heavy stones. No one moved. Then slowly, the speaker turned toward Commander Ilara. She stood calm in the center of the chamber, surrounded by alien guards who dared not touch her. The human officer met the gaze of the entire council without fear. "Commander Ilara," the speaker said, "you have shown us your fleet, your soldiers, and your message. Tell this council, what is it that humanity wants?" Every alien eye turned toward her. The chamber fell silent, waiting. Ilara's expression did not change. She stepped forward, her boots echoing on the stone floor. Her voice was steady, low and cold. "Humanity wants nothing from you," she said. "We do not ask for your permission. We do not beg for your approval. We came to show you only one truth. We are here. You ignored us for centuries. You left us to struggle, to suffer, to bleed. And in that silence we became strong. Stronger than you ever expected. Now the galaxy must learn to live with us." Her words echoed heavy and sharp. One alien elder hissed. "And if we refuse?" Ilara turned her head toward him, her eyes like ice. "Then you will remember this day as the day you doomed yourselves." Gasps spread through the chamber. Some shouted in anger, others in fear. The speaker struck the table again. "Enough!" He raised his voice, trembling with the weight of the decision. "The time has come. The council will vote." A hush fell over the chamber. The banners above seemed to hang heavier than before. The hologram of Earth's fleet rotated slowly, its warships casting ghostly shadows across the walls. One by one, the votes were cast. The reptilian overlord's voice rang first. "War! Humanity must be crushed before it spreads." His words sent murmurs through the chamber. A crystalline diplomat spoke next, her voice trembling like breaking glass. "Peace. We must negotiate, for our survival depends on it." The votes continued, one after another. War, peace, war, peace. The chamber split in two, neither side holding clear strength. The air grew thick with dread. General Korath finally rose. His massive frame towered over the others. His scars glistened under the chamber light. Every eye turned toward him. "I fought them," he said, his voice low and rough. "I saw their fury. I saw their fire. Even when they were weak, they were unstoppable. They are no longer weak. If you choose war, you will not be fighting an enemy. You will be fighting extinction." The chamber shivered with his words. Then he turned his gaze toward Ilara. His eyes narrowed, filled with memory and fear. His voice rose, shaking the stone walls. "She is Earthborn, and if you do not fear that word, then you are already dead." The chamber exploded into chaos again. Some screamed to listen to him. Others shouted that fear could not guide them. The speaker raised his arms once more, shouting, "Order! The vote must continue." The last voices spoke. The tally was taken, and then the speaker froze, his wings trembling. "The votes are equal," he said. "Peace and war stand divided." A silence fell that was louder than any argument. The council chamber felt colder, heavier. The galaxy itself seemed to hold its breath. Finally, the speaker's voice broke the silence. Then the deciding choice will fall to me. Every head turned. Every eye locked on him. His face was pale, his voice shaking. He opened his mouth to speak, and then the chamber lights flickered. The hologram of Earth's fleet changed. The warships were no longer holding position. They were moving. Impossible, a council aide gasped. They are not waiting for us. They are advancing, the chamber erupted again. Some shouted in terror, others in rage. But all eyes turned back to the hologram. Human warships were leaving Earth's orbit. They were spreading out, forming attack patterns, moving toward alien space. The speaker's voice cracked with horror. They are not waiting for our decision. Humanity has already chosen. The galaxy had been watching. Every empire, every species, every world was staring at the images of Earth's warfleet spreading across the stars. For days, rumors spread like fire. Some said the humans were bluffing. Some said their warships were nothing but shells, empty threats to frighten the council. Those lies ended the moment the first human ship attacked. The battle began near a dying star on the edge of alien space. A proud fleet of the Veyari Empire had gathered there, over 300 warships strong. They had come to test the humans, to prove that Earth's rise was only a myth. Their ships glowed with weapons that had conquered dozens of weaker races. Their admirals laughed at the idea that Earthborn could stand against them, but when the human ship appeared, their laughter died. It was not a fleet. It was a single vessel, the Iron Resolve. It dropped out of the void in silence, its dark hull catching the light of the fading star. For a moment, the Veyari thought it was a mistake. One ship against hundreds? It could not be serious. Their admiral gave the order. Crush it. Make an example. The Veyari fleet opened fire. Hundreds of beams of plasma and missiles filled the void. The star itself trembled with the fury of the barrage. Any other ship would have been torn apart in seconds, but the Iron Resolve did not fall. Its shields flared like a burning sun, absorbing the storm. Its engines glowed, and it surged forward through the fire. Then it struck back, the human ship's weapons ignited with power no alien had ever seen. Lances of white light tore through the first wave of Veyari cruisers. Whole warships split apart in silence, their burning wreckage scattered across the void. The second wave tried to retreat, but the Iron Resolve moved faster than any heavy vessel should. Its guns tracked with perfect precision, cutting ships to pieces one by one. In minutes, the mighty Veyari fleet was collapsing. On board the flagship, the alien admiral screamed orders. "Surround it! Do not let it escape." But his crew stared at their screens in terror. The human ship was not escaping. It was hunting. Every maneuver, every shot was clean and merciless. It was not fighting for survival. It was delivering judgment. On the command deck of the Iron Resolve, Commander Ilara stood calm. Her voice was steady, cold as steel. "Target their flagship," she said. The guns shifted. A beam of white light tore across the void. The Veyari flagship exploded, its remains swallowed by the darkness. The alien fleet broke. Survivors fled in all directions, scattering like insects before fire. But even in retreat, they were not safe. Human fighters streaked from the Iron Resolve, pursuing, hunting, cutting down the fleeing vessels with ruthless efficiency. When the battle was done, the silence returned. Hundreds of Veyari ships had been destroyed. The proud fleet was reduced to ash, and through the wreckage drifted a single human vessel, untouched, its hull still gleaming. A single human ship had annihilated an empire's strength in less than an hour. The survivors carried the story back to the galaxy. The feed spread across every channel. Billions watched in shock and horror as the impossible became real. Entire species trembled. The whispers grew louder, echoing in every world. Earthborn. Back on the council world, chaos erupted. The chamber rang with screams and panic. Some demanded immediate surrender to humanity. Others still called for war, though their voices cracked with fear. The speaker shouted for silence. His wings trembled as he looked at the feed. "One ship," he said in disbelief. "One ship has destroyed an empire's fleet." General Korath stood tall, his eyes locked on the image of the Iron Resolve. His deep voice carried through the noise. "This is what I warned you," he said. "This is humanity's truth. They do not bluff. They do not show weakness. When they fight to the end." The chamber froze at his words, but while the council argued, Earth's message was already spreading. In the wreckage near the dying star, the Iron Resolve sent a signal. Its voice carried across the stars to every empire, every world. "This is what happens when you test Earth." The words echoed through the galaxy, repeated on every channel, burned into every screen on alien worlds. Civilians stared at the message in silence. Some trembled, some wept, some began whispering prayers. The word Earthborn spread through the stars like a shadow. Meanwhile, in the dark corners of the galaxy, empires began to move. Some sent secret envoys toward Earth, desperate to ally with this new power. Others gathered their fleets, swearing they would not bow to humans. But in every palace, in every chamber, leaders asked the same question. If one ship can do this, how many more does Earth hide? Inside the Iron Resolve, Elara walked the silent corridors. Her soldiers saluted as she passed. Her face remained calm, but her eyes burned with purpose. She knew the galaxy was watching. She knew fear was spreading. That was the plan, but she also knew the danger. Humanity's secret was out. They could no longer hide. The galaxy would strike back, and when it did, the war would consume everything. Her officer approached, voice low. "Commander, reports confirm it. Every major empire has seen the broadcast. Some are rallying fleets already." Elara nodded. "Let them. They will come to us. And when they do, we will show them that humanity does not kneel." Her gaze returned to the stars outside. The wreckage drifted past, silent graves of the Veyari. Her reflection stared back at her from the glass. She whispered to herself, "This is only the beginning." Suddenly, alarms blared across the ship. A new signal lit up on the holographic map. Not one fleet, not two, dozens. Multiple empires had launched their armadas, all converging on Earth. The officer's voice cracked. "Commander, they are coming. All of them." Elara's lips curled into that sharp, fearless smile. "Good," she said. "Let them try." The galaxy was burning with fear. Every world, every council hall, every palace spoke only of one thing: the humans. News of the battle near the dying star had spread like wildfire. One human ship had crushed an empire's fleet. One commander had shown the galaxy that Earth's power was not a rumor, but a fact. And now, the galaxy waited for Earth's next move. But inside the council chamber, something else was happening. The alien leaders argued louder than ever. Some shouted for surrender, others demanded war. Their voices echoed across the marble chamber until the air itself seemed to shake. Then, in the middle of the storm, General Korath stood up. The hall grew quiet. His massive frame towered above the others. His voice was deep, heavy with a weight that silenced the room. "You fools," he growled. "You do not understand. Humanity is not only strong because of their weapons. They are strong because of what they are." The speaker's wings twitched nervously. "Explain yourself, General. What are you saying?" Korath's eyes narrowed. He remembered the first time he had seen them long ago, before the rest of the galaxy even knew Earth existed. "They are Earthborn," he said slowly, as if the word itself carried power. "Do you even know what that means? Do you know what they endured on their world before they reached the stars?" The chamber stayed silent. No one answered. Korath clenched his fist. "Earth is not like your gentle homeworlds. Their planet is a place of storms, fire, and endless struggle. Their history is written in war, in famine, in survival against impossible odds. Every species that lives there had to fight to live another day. And the humans rose to the top of that world." Gasps spread through the chamber. Some shook their heads in disbelief, but others leaned forward, listening. Korath's voice grew harder. "Their strength is not just in machines. It is in their blood. They fight until nothing is left. They fight when all logic says they should fall. That is their secret." The speaker's voice trembled. "Are you saying they cannot be defeated?" Korath turned, his eyes glowing like fire. "I am saying this. If you want to fight the humans, prepare to destroy yourselves, because they will never stop. Not until you are ash. The chamber erupted again. Some shouted in fear, others in rage. But beneath the noise, the council knew the general's words were truth. Meanwhile, far away aboard the Iron Resolve, Commander Elara stood in her quarters, staring at a message that had just arrived. It was encrypted, sealed with codes known only to her and a handful of others. She opened it. The screen flickered and an image appeared. A shadowed figure hidden in the dark. The voice was low, almost a whisper. "Elara, the time has come. The council will soon learn the truth. We cannot hide forever." Her eyes narrowed. She understood what the message meant. Humanity's greatest secret was at risk. Not the power of their ships, not the size of their fleets, but something deeper. Something the galaxy could never be allowed to discover. She whispered to herself, "If they learn what we truly are, it will not only be fear. It will be war without end." The ship's alarm interrupted her thoughts. Her officer's voice crackled through the comms. "Commander, multiple fleets are on approach. They are not Veari. These are combined forces. At least 6 empires. They are hunting us." Elara's jaw tightened. She knew this would happen. Humanity's secret was drawing them in, like moths to flame. She stepped out onto the bridge, her soldiers rising to attention. The holographic map glowed with hundreds of hostile signals. The galaxy was closing in. "Set course," she ordered. The officer hesitated. "To where, Commander? Earth?" Her eyes burned with cold fire. "No, to the dark sector. We cannot let them corner us near home." The ship's engines roared as the Iron Resolve jumped into the void. Back in the council chamber, General Korath received a private message. He looked at the code, his expression darkening. It was from an old source, one he thought long gone. The words were simple. "They are moving. Earth's secret will not stay hidden." For the first time in years, the general's hands trembled. He turned his gaze back toward the stars, whispering under his breath, "If the galaxy learns what Earth truly carries inside them, none of us will survive." The chamber behind him roared with argument and fear. The galaxy's fleets moved into position. Humanity's enemies gathered in the dark, and aboard the Iron Resolve, Commander Elara's eyes locked on the stars ahead. Her voice was calm, steady, but filled with a dangerous certainty. "Let them come," she said. "But if they find out the truth, we will show them why they should have feared more than just our ships." The crew exchanged worried glances. They did not ask what she meant. Not yet. The galaxy thought it feared humanity's weapons. They had no idea what was coming. The void was alive with fire. Across the dark sector, fleets of alien empires gathered like predators circling prey. Their ships stretched for miles, glowing with weapons charged and ready. 6 empires, once rivals, now united by fear of a single word: Earthborn. On the bridge of the Iron Resolve, Commander Elara watched the holographic map fill with red signals. Hundreds of warships moved into formation, their weapons aimed at her lone vessel. Her crew stood silent. Some shifted nervously, but none broke. They were Earthborn, and they had been raised for moments like this. Elara's voice cut through the silence. "They think they have us surrounded. They think numbers will save them. They do not understand." "Not yet." Her second officer, a young soldier with steady eyes, spoke. "Commander, if they strike all at once, even we cannot hold them." Elara's lips curled into that sharp smile. "That is why we will not wait for them to strike. We will choose the first blow." The crew nodded, their fear melting into resolve. Outside, the alien fleets broadcast their demands. Screens flickered to life across the human bridge. Admirals from 6 species appeared, their faces twisted in rage and fear. "You are surrounded," one hissed. "Your tricks end here. Surrender your ship. Surrender Earth's secrets, or you will burn." Elara leaned forward, her eyes hard as stone. "Secrets? You think you can demand what you cannot even imagine? No. Today, you will learn why the galaxy whispers our name." Before the aliens could answer, she gave the order. "Engage." The Iron Resolve moved like lightning. Its guns blazed, tearing through the nearest warships. Alien shields shattered, hulls split open, fire spilling into the void. The combined fleet reeled in shock. They had expected hesitation, maybe surrender. Instead, they were met with fury. The first wave broke, but the second wave closed in fast. Dozens of ships launched a storm of plasma, missiles and energy beams. The void lit up with destruction. The human ship's shields flared, but this time the storm did not fade easily. The iron resolve shook under the impact. Sparks rained down from the ceiling. "Commander, shields at 60%, shouted her officer. Elara stood tall, calm in the chaos. "Hold! Push forward!" The iron resolve surged through the fire, guns answering shot for shot. Alien cruisers exploded one by one, their burning remains drifting in silence, but still the fleets pressed harder. They had numbers, they had desperation, and for the first time, the human ship felt the weight of the galaxy bearing down upon it. In the council chamber far away, General Korath watched the live feed. His chest tightened as he saw the human vessel surrounded on all sides. The council cheered each alien strike, their fear turning into cruel hope. "They are breaking," one shouted. "The humans will fall!" But Korath said nothing. His eyes narrowed. He knew better. He had seen what Earthborn could do when cornered. He whispered under his breath, "You fools! You don't know what you are calling out of them." Back aboard the Iron Resolve, the pressure mounted. The alien fleets closed tighter, forming a cage of fire. The shields flickered. Hull alarms wailed. Her officer turned, fear in his voice. "Commander, if we continue like this, we will not survive." Ilara's gaze burned like steel. "Then it is time." The bridge fell silent. Every soldier knew what those words meant. They had trained for it, whispered about it, but none had seen it unleashed. Her voice dropped to a low command. "Release the protocol." Her crew hesitated, then obeyed. Hands moved across consoles. Seals broke. A system deep within the ship began to wake, one that had never been shown to the galaxy. Outside, the alien fleets detected a surge of energy from the human vessel. At first, they thought it was a reactor overload, a desperate last stand, but then the Iron Resolve began to glow. White light pulsed along its hull, spreading across its armor like veins of fire. The void itself seemed to bend around the ship. The alien admirals froze, their voices filled with sudden panic. "What is this? What are they activating?" Ilara's soldiers gripped their stations, their eyes filled with a mix of fear and pride. The ship's systems roared like a living beast awakening from its chains. She raised her hand, her voice clear and sharp. "Let the galaxy see what Earthborn truly means." The Iron Resolve released its first blast. It was not a simple weapon. It was not plasma, not missile, not energy beam. It was something older, something forged in the hidden depths of Earth's secret labs. A white wave of power swept across space, cutting through the alien fleets like fire through paper. Shields collapsed instantly. Metal vaporized. Entire squadrons disappeared in silence. The galaxy's fleets screamed in terror. On the council world, leaders watched their combined forces burn. Some shouted denial. Others simply stared, their faces pale as the truth dawned. "This is not technology," one whispered. "This is something else." General Korath's eyes darkened. He understood. This was the secret he had feared. This was the thing he had tried to warn them about. The Iron Resolve kept firing, the wave of destruction spreading wider, tearing through ships faster than any weapon in history. Alien admirals begged their crews to retreat, but the void had already become a graveyard. Then the glow around the ship dimmed. The protocol ended as suddenly as it began. The Iron Resolve stood silent in the wreckage, its engines low, its hull smoking. On the bridge, Ilara's breathing was steady, but her hands trembled slightly. She looked at her officers. "Report. Massive casualties across enemy fleets," her officer replied. "At least half destroyed in seconds. Survivors retreating, the crew's faces lit with grim victory. But they also knew what it meant. The galaxy had seen the truth. Humanity had revealed its hidden hand. Ilara turned to the stars, her eyes sharp. "Now they know. Now they will never stop." Her words hung heavy in the air, and in the shadows of the galaxy, far from the battlefield, another force stirred. A presence that had watched humanity grow, waiting for this very moment. It whispered through the void. Not in words, but in a voice older than empires. They have awakened it. The galaxy held its breath. In the dark sector, wreckage drifted across the void. Thousands of alien warships had come to end humanity, and now their broken remains floated in silence. Survivors fled into the shadows, whispering the same word in terror. Earthborn, the iron resolve, stood at the heart of it, glowing faintly from the storm it had unleashed. Its hull was scarred, its shields low, but it still stood. Against the combined might of 6 empires, one human ship had not fallen. On alien worlds, billions watched the broadcasts in disbelief. Children cried, leaders trembled, priests prayed. Some cursed Earth. Others whispered that perhaps, just perhaps, the humans were chosen for something greater. But in the council chamber, chaos reigned. The speaker's wings beat frantically. This is impossible. Nothing can wield such power. Another alien shouted, his scales flashing fear. If they possess this, then none of us are safe. Humanity must be destroyed, whatever the cost. Others demanded surrender, treaties, or exile. The chamber roared with panic, and then General Korath rose. His deep voice silenced the storm. You fools still do not see, he said. This is not just a weapon. This is what they are. The council froze. Dozens of eyes turned to him. The speaker demanded, what do you mean? Explain. Korath's gaze hardened. The humans were born from a world that should have killed them 1,000 times over. Fire, ice, storms, beasts, and endless wars, they survived them all. And now they carry that storm within them. That weapon you saw is not only a machine. It is their will made into light. It is Earth itself striking through them. Gasps filled the chamber. Some leaders shook their heads, unwilling to believe. But others knew, deep in their bones, that the general spoke truth. They are not like us, Korath continued. They are something older, something the galaxy has forgotten. A species that does not stop, that does not bow. That fights even when the universe itself tells them to die. Silence fell. The weight of his words pressed on every soul in the chamber. Meanwhile, aboard the Iron Resolve, Commander Ilara stood before her crew. The ship was quiet, the glow of the secret protocol fading from its armor. She looked at her soldiers, tired, wounded, but unbroken. She spoke clearly, so all could hear. Today the galaxy has seen us. They now know what it means to call us Earthborn. They think this power is a weapon we built. But it is not. It is who we are. It is what we always were. Her words lit a fire in the crew's hearts. They straightened in pride, their fear replaced by iron resolve, but her eyes held shadows. She knew the truth the galaxy had not yet seen. The protocol was not just human creation. It was something deeper, something connected to Earth itself. Long ago, hidden in the history no alien had read, Earth had spoken to its children. Not in words, but in the storms, the quakes, the endless struggle. It had carved into their bones a fire no darkness could extinguish. That was humanity's true weapon. And now it had been unleashed. Far across the stars, in places older than the Council, other powers stirred. Ancient machines, silent for eons, flickered with life. Watchers hidden in the deep void turned their gaze toward Earth. A voice older than empires whispered through the stars, "They have awakened." Back in the Council chamber, panic spread as reports poured in. Empires were collapsing under fear. Fleets were refusing orders. Soldiers whispered that they would not fight humans again. The speaker tried to regain control. "We must unite. If we do not stand together, Earth will—" But General Korath cut him off, his voice like thunder. "Earth does not seek your submission. They never asked for your war. You brought this upon yourselves. And now you will learn to live in their shadow or burn in their fire." The council chamber fell silent. The truth had been spoken. On the bridge of the Iron Resolve, Ilara gave her final order. "Transmit this to every world," she said. The ship's systems lit up. Across the galaxy, screens flickered. Billions of beings, from palace lords to miners in the void, saw Commander Ilara's face. Her voice was steady, her eyes sharp with fire. "I am Ilara of Earth. Today you came to end us. Today you failed. Remember this truth. Humanity does not kneel. Humanity does not surrender. We are Earthborn. Say it and know what it means. The signal spread through every channel, echoing across every empire. Billions watched in silence. Some wept, some screamed, some bowed their heads, and in the council chamber General Korath whispered the word again, his voice heavy with awe. Earthborn. The galaxy trembled, but as the signal faded, a new shadow moved in the depths of space. Something older than Earth. Something that had waited for this moment. In the farthest corner of the void, an ancient fleet stirred from its slumber. Massive ships, older than stars, lit their engines. A voice older than history whispered into the dark, "They have risen. Now we will see if they are ready." On the bridge of the Iron Resolve, alarms blared. A new signal appeared on the holographic map, unknown, vast, moving straight toward them. Ilara's eyes narrowed, her smile returning. "Another challenge," she said softly. "Good, let them come." The stars seemed to burn brighter as if listening, and the word echoed again across the galaxy, louder than ever before. Earthborn. End of Season 1.